Arizona, and if you get Nevada, that Trump will have 312 electoral college votes, which, ladies and gentlemen, any way you look at it, is a that's right. Let's have a little surf music. Everybody get up and dance. Here we go. Hey. It's a wipeout. Here comes the drum solo. Here, Ken, you'll love this. Here we go. Oh. Well, there you go. Wipeout. It is a wipeout. 312 is a landslide just about any way you look at it. It is amazing. I looked at some analyses of exactly what went right for Trump. And there's a lot of things that went right. Trump gained well over his 2020 numbers. He is up 2% in women. He's up 3% in men. Among working blue-collar workers, he is up 6%. Listen to these last numbers here. These will blow your mind. Among Hispanic voters, he has improved his position in over 2020 by 6%. Among black voters, his improvement is 7%. And this one just blows my mind. You know who turned out big? Young people turned out big for Trump. Young voters were up 10%. And I'm going to give you a little bit on that a bit more later, but you know what I think happened there? I think Barron, his son, and his advice to his father to go on a bunch of different podcasts, and he gave him advice over which podcast he thinks the young people listen to. And Trump went out there and he did Joe Rogan and he did a bunch of other podcasts. And it seems very clearly that a lot of very young people, form their opinions, not on watching traditional newscasts or reading traditional newspapers or even going to traditional websites. They tend to form their opinions based on what they hear on podcasts. They're very big into the podcast, and it paid off. Barron Trump, can well be credited for helping the campaign gain young voters and have their numbers go up by a full 10%. I've been looking at pollsters and how they did. Once again, they had trouble trying to get the shy Trump voters to participate in their polling, and they underestimated Trump by 3.2%. Now, that's right at the margin of error on most of these polls, but still they missed it. And again, they have not yet solved the problem of how to get, in 2022, which was a non-presidential election year, the polls were dead on. I mean, they really were very much on. It's a struggle for these pollsters to get any election that Donald Trump participates in, because there are people who just will not admit or will not engage with voters, and it's very difficult for them to determine how many Trump voters they have. But again, they made adjustments, and they did better, but they didn't get it solved, and pollsters missed, on average, by 3.2% in the general election number. You can go and find some polls where they were pretty much on. You can find some polls where they really missed it, but that's the average in the general election number. I will tell you that there will be an analysis done on which ones got it right and which ones got it wrong, but that usually takes a little while for them to sift through the data. Let's go. The Senate is in good shape. We have 52 votes. On our side, we will control that body. Where are we in the elusive House of Representatives? Well, I go to the Hill.com for that, because I think the Hill, that's what they do. They cover the Hill, and they've always got a good beat on this number. Hill.com has Republicans with 213 seats now in the House of Representatives. We need 218. I know there's some 15 races out. I looked at where they're standing. I would say that they're more leaning Republican than there are Democrat. But right now, they are one seat ahead of where they were, where the current House. They picked up one seat on when you average it all out. A lot of these California races are going to go left, but there are others um, out there that have not been decided where Republicans are leading. I think, let's say, I'm cautiously optimistic that Republicans will control the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. It's 22 past the hour. Hey, let's talk about the folks over at DT McCall. You know, they got a big safe sale going on over there. And did you know that safes? I'm sure you know this by now because you've heard me say it so many times. That safes are basically sales tax free. That's right, sales tax free. So if you want to get a safe, this is the time to do it. It's gonna be one of them days. It's the time to do it because they have a big sale. They're a Liberty Safe dealer, and you know they sell more Liberty Safes than anybody else in the country. And why do they do that? Because they have a great plan where they will deliver it. There's no delivery charge. You know, in some of these companies, they charge $500 for delivery of the big models, $300 for the smaller models. But at DT McCall, there is never a delivery charge, not ever. And so you can really save some money there. And you know, the other thing to think about when it comes to these safes is they're not just for guns. They could be for a lot of things. You've got car titles, you know, important documents, mama's jewelry. All those things can be kept in a safe well. So listen, why don't you go to their website and find out about their 5 convenient locations and get on over there and pick yourself up a safe and have it delivered with no delivery charge and no setup fee. That's dtmccalls.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
Doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
A Tennessee welcome center shut down due to an explosive materials issue, and people in one South Nashville neighborhood applauding what police did today per court order. That's coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That would be Ken Weaver in the newsroom, and Ken, I'm counting on you. I have one mandate for you today, if you don't mind. I mean, you run independent of what I do, and that's the way it should be. But if I could just make one request, I want every possible update on the South Carolina monkeys.
Oh.
43 monkeys are now, running loose in the state of South Carolina.
Yeah, down in the low country of Beaufort County.
Yeah.
Cute little fellas, those rhesus macaque monkeys.
Don't let that cuteness fool you.
You mean he's not a capuchin?
No.
What's the difference?
I don't know.
I don't know.
The capuchin monkey, that's the kind that was in that Ben Stiller movie, Night at the Museum.
Right. Yeah, he's a capuchin. But no, the rhesus monkeys, look, there's no danger, but I mean, it's just, can you imagine some good old boys?
A little danger.
Some of these good old boys down in South Carolina run into a monkey. How's that going to work out for the monkey? I don't think it's going to work out well.
Come here, monkey.
Oh,
I won't hurt you.
Monkey. Yeah, I don't. That's a hoot. I mean, it is sad that they've escaped. And honestly, I sort of suspect at the end of the day we're going to find out that it wasn't such an accident.
There you go.
That they got
I didn't
released.
think about
Someone
that.
let him out.
I think that's probably something that's going on. Well, so anyway, there's Ken Weaver. He promises that he will stay on top of the monkey story.
I'm going to do it.
Okay. And then Chris Webber's in the control room pushing all the blinky buttons, as he often does.
And I have no bananas.
They have no minute. Yes. And they got no monkeys. Well, that's going to be fun to watch. All right. So we've got a lot of ground to cover here today. If you don't mind, I want to ask a favor of people who listen to this program within the sound of my voice. If you could join me tomorrow, right at the top of the show at 3 o'clock. I have a special announcement that I have to make, that I want to make, with regard to this program. That's at 3 p.m. tomorrow. If you can spare a few minutes, I would really appreciate it. And then you can hang around for the rest of the show. But I would like it a lot if you could join me at 3 p.m. What's that?
Was that you, Ken?
Oh,
it wasn't me.
I'm sorry. That was me.
That was actually kind of fitting a little bit. I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Kind of fit in with the...
I kind of like it.
I was looking for an update on the monkeys, and that's
those
that's what came up.
See, this is what happens when I try to tell him how to do his job. Things fall apart. That's right. All right. Let's see. It's a pretty interesting day. I think the thing I'm looking at when I look big picture at what's happening in the country right now is very pleased at the way, people have absorbed the news. I mean, we're very excited on our side. And I think one of the things I like about it is so far it seems like we have been gracious winners. And that's what I want. I don't want people gloating. I don't want people, picking on people because they held positions that turned out not to prevail. Let's be gracious winners, and it seems like that's what's happening. And the other side, they're upset. They're crying some bitter tears. They're very emotional. They're butthurt on this whole thing, and I get that. Is that okay to say?
Sure.
They're butthurt. They are.
It's funny.
And so I get all that. But it's been quiet, and a lot of people thought things might get ugly, and it hasn't gotten ugly. So we cross our fingers that things go well. It looks like the White House is going to cooperate. Doesn't look like there's going to be any lawsuits, and the lawsuits that are pending against Donald Trump are about to evaporate. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Right now, it's time for the news and maybe a monkey update. We'll see. I didn't give him much time to get ready for it. It is 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Still monitoring that story out of Sumner County where Channel 4 says the Tennessee Welcome Center on 65 to Portland is closed due to an incident involving a truck carrying explosive material. Troopers on the scene. People have been evacuated from the travel center. Full forecast traffic coming up in 5 minutes. People in a South Nashville neighborhood today say they feel safer after Metro Police shut down a home by court order, a judge deeming the house a nuisance. 2 people were arrested. Officers say they have made at least 60 arrests at this home, at least 50 of those just in the past year. Channel 4 spoke to some neighbors of the home on Shasta Drive, where police say they've been called there about shootings, drug deals, stolen cars, other violent issues, all connected to homeless people staying on the property.
To not be scared to walk down the street. It's a dead-end street, so you would think it's very communicative with everybody, community-driven, and that's not what's happened since I've been here in 4 years. Everyone drives very carefully by the house. Everyone stays inside.
Now, the owner to be in court next week, where a judge will decide if he can make changes or have to sell that house. The Fed cut interest rates by 1/4 point to the 4.5, 4.75% range today. Fed Chair Jerome Powell asked about whether the election weighed in on it.
In the near term, the election will have no effects on our policy decisions. As you know, many things affect the economy, and anyone who writes down forecasts in their job will tell you that the economy is quite difficult to forecast looking out past the very near term.
He says the economy's strong overall and has progressed toward their goal over the past 2 years, saying inflation has eased to 2.1% as of September. And I just checked on the escaped monkeys. They're in Beaufort County, South Carolina, from that research facility. And as of last check, all 43 monkeys are still on the loose. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Heavy brake tapping underway on the eastbound East Loop. Also, that continues over to 40, then 24 down to Bell Road. 65 northbound starting to build there before you go east or west on 40 on the South Loop. Northbound 65, usual slowdown there. And again, we're watching that situation with the Tennessee Welcome Center on I-65 in Sumner County, where apparently that Welcome Center has been closed. And with all the cops, the first responders there, investigators there on the scene, a lot of rubbernecking causing a slowdown there. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You know, we don't have to wait to get to taking our country back. We can start right away. We can get in the fight now with Coin, the conservatives' credit card. Instead of funneling millions to the left like other cards, Coin advances conservative values and charities. Earn cash back while fighting back. Apply now to coin.com. That's COIGN.com. Terms apply. Go to coin.com/disclosures for full details.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
There are monkeys on the loose in America. If you see a monkey, call the authorities. 43 monkeys. These are rhesus, not capuchin monkeys.
911, what's your emergency? Yeah, my neighbor's out.
Okay. That's just going to get old quick, isn't it?
We got all the monkeys. I don't know what these sound like, so we got them all.
You pulled every monkey you could find, right?
Yep.
Well, I need you to do something authoritative here. I mean, I think you need to be correct at our monkey sound effects because we pride ourselves here on they're not cheap and tawdry sound effects. It's sound design.
All right, what kind of monkeys are they again?
They're called rhesus monkeys.
Like the peanut butter cup?
No, RHESUS, I think.
Yeah, rhesus macaque, and it's spelt weird too.
All right.
MACAQUE.
Yep.
Rhesus monkey. There's a long-tailed macaque.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is that them, you think? I don't know. Hang on.
Well, I mean, you work on that.
Yeah, they got a tail. Got a big long tail.
These are monkeys in the wild.
Is that them chirping?
Yep.
Oh, wait. There they are.
Wow.
I wonder how the monkeys will do against other woodland creatures from South Carolina.
Like gators?
Well, there are gators in South Carolina,
yeah.
I suppose, yeah.
Now, this one's mean looking.
Oh, that's a chimpanzee.
That says rhesus monkey.
Oh, yeah, he does look mean.
They have long incisors.
Yeah.
Hard to tell.
Yeah,
He wants out of that cage right there. I can tell you that much.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, can you imagine? Let's see. A rhesus monkey versus an opossum.
Oh, the monkey hands down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rhesus versus a raccoon.
Raccoons are mighty shifty.
Yeah.
I think they might put up a good fight.
Hmm.
I don't know. Depends on how big the monkey is, I guess.
Yeah.
I got bears down in South Carolina?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they got bears in
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Better watch out.
Bear
for those
would win
bears.
that, of
Oh,
course.
yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I hope they find the monkeys because you want the monkeys to do well. Here, come here, monkey. I want to take good care of you. Put you back in the cage.
Back in the lab.
That's right. Oh well. Anyway, we'll continue. Ken is on the monkey patrol today.
I'm on it.
Okay. The size of Donald Trump's electoral victory across the country explained by the good people at WokeSpy. And it's, we're starting to sort, everybody wants to know, well, we want to do a dissertation. We want to do a deep dive, look at all the data, and the data are pretty clear that there was a major shift to the right. But, how did we get there? What was the thing that we should learn? Anytime you do something major, you should stop afterwards, and if you had success, do an after-action analysis of what went right. And if things didn't go bad, do an after-action analysis. So the Democrats will be doing an after-action analysis of what went wrong. And I think it's helpful for our side to know, well, we did well. What did we do that helped us win this thing? The margin of victory across the country made it clear who was going to win. Something which became clear in Georgia, the first swing state, to begin counting the votes. While Kamala Harris performed better than Joe Biden in Georgia's urban areas, her margin of improvement, 0.5%, 0.5%, was far smaller than Trump's in suburban areas where he was up 2.9. In rural areas, he was up 3.9 in Georgia. The trend replicated across the country, with Trump leading Harris by 3.5 percentage points at the time of writing in the popular vote, which the president lost in 2016 and 2020. That's interesting. really, it is a feather in your cap not to just win the Electoral College, but to also win the popular vote, because it takes away that argument that the Democrats always have. Well, we won the popular vote. Well, that's right, but that's not the way we play the game in America. It's the Electoral College, but still a nice feather in your cap to say not only did you win the Electoral College, but you had popular support. There are several thousand counties in the U.S., and Trump flipped just under 90 of them. Meanwhile, Harris flipped just one. Just one. In those which remained the same, Trump's support increased with enthusiasm while the Democrats' enthusiasm dwindled. The best summary, albeit referring to states rather than counties as social media believed, was CNN's realization of Harris's poor performance. It's done the rounds online, but one more time, it's worth a watch. Jake Tapper was shocked. He was absolutely shocked that things were not going well, and the numbers that were going on. He didn't see it coming. A lot of people, had it pegged to going the other way. How Trump's election win was driven by targeted communication. From Axios. President-elect Trump's victory was driven by gains among young voters that the campaign targeted in a media blitz in the final month leading up to the general election. It's another lesson in how hyper-targeted communications, identifying what resonates with these audiences, meeting them where they are, and engaging with voices they trust should be a key part of the comms playbook. While Trump and Vice President Harris leveraged a mix of traditional and new media channels to reach young minority voters, the scale of Trump's outreach was bigger and it was broader. Trump won a greater share of the under 30 vote than any Republican presidential candidate since 2008. And while Harris won 52% of 18 to 20 years old that were down, that was down from 61% who voted for Biden in 2020. Her campaign also lost ground with independents and with women voters. To reach young and largely disengaged voters, Trump opted for long-form podcast and non-traditional media channels. Trump's appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast received more than 46 million views on YouTube, while Vice President-elect J.D. Vance's interview garnered more than 15 million. Right there. That's reaching people. The traditional networks don't reach that kind of... ABC News won the traditional network, broadcast for election coverage night. They had 5.7 million people. Here you got a podcast by a guy named Joe Rogan. You know him. Received more than 46 million views on YouTube. Wow. And J.D. Vance has got 15. 3 times the number of people who watch traditional election coverage on ABC News. Trump continued to target young male voters by giving interviews to podcaster Theo Vaughn, very popular with young people, Barstool Sports, Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast, and appearing on Kick live stream with controversial streamer Aiden Ross, which had at its peak over 580,000 viewers. Harris did work to target specific audiences, but relied more on legacy media than did Trump. Her Call Her Daddy appearance, which was one of the most unusual ones, received only 800,000 views on YouTube. She also joined All the Smoke and Shade Room podcasts. With regards to Trump, it seems he was really conscious about reaching out to young men who felt like the mainstream media were not speaking to them, says Rachel Janfaza, a Gen Z political analyst and founder of the Up and Up, who's been conducting listening sessions with young voters in Pennsylvania. What I heard from many young male voters as we got closer to the election was that they appreciated the way that Trump was able to say what he wanted in a way that really flew in the face of cancel culture, which many of them have grown wary of or resentful of. And the fact that he was going on these platforms, providing an unfiltered personal look into who Trump is, and not just the issues he cares about, but some stories about his life and his experiences in his business and in politics, that resonated with young men. According to Axios analysis, Trump sat down for more than 30 legacy TV interviews and 24 radio and print interviews since becoming the nominee. And of note, in the lead up to Election Day, Trump appeared on Fox News regularly to appeal to his base and the growing number of Latino voters that are watching that cable channel. How about that? Harris's campaign received backlash for spending too much time talking about Trump and not enough time detailing her position, dubbing her the no-comment candidate. Trump leaned into unconventional yet very influential voices that he didn't have access to in 2016, like Rogan, Elon Musk, Dave Portnoy, Dave Sachs, Vivek Ramaswamy. Harris, meanwhile, relied on the Hollywood crowd that's always had the benefit of scale and reach, people like Bruce Springsteen, Beyonce, Oprah Winfrey, and Taylor Swift, but ultimately their star power did not sway enough independents or young voters. So there you have it. He went a different route. You know, normally you want the big networks. I mean, it's an acknowledgement that the media world has changed so dramatically. So very different than it was just a few years ago. You know, even in the last election cycle 4 years ago, some of these things that are huge now did not even really exist in any significant way. And so he recognized that. And I think, again, I'll say it again, I think at the end of the day, it may have been young Barron who was the one who convinced President Trump that there were certain podcasts that young people listen to, that you need to go to, that you need to get involved with, and you need to interact with those people, and you will be then interacting with a younger group of people. All I can tell you is it worked. And a traditional campaign that relies on Hollyweird endorsements and legacy media interviews just simply is not the way the elections are going to be done. It's going to be more targeted, and it's going to be more non-traditional media sources in the future. Seems to be the way it's going to go. 50 minutes now past the hour of 3 o'clock on Super Talk. You know, brand new shipments are arriving every day at Genesis Diamonds. Rare, precious, natural diamonds straight from the overseas diamond cutters. Rounds, princess cuts, ovals, emerald cuts, cushion cuts, every shape, every size. Each one handpicked by Genesis owner Boaz Ramon. People here know when it comes to diamonds, this is what Genesis does best. Rock bottom prices on exquisite quality, that's extreme value. And on top of that, Genesis has the designer rings that other jewelry stores don't have. Genesis has cornered the market on the top brand of bridal design, names like Tacori and Verragio, so you could get a ring to really be proud of. And no other jeweler gives you the experience of Genesis diamonds with no commission salespeople, no pricing games, no risk whatsoever. They are committed to your happiness and your repeat business, so they go out of their way to make sure you leave with nothing but a smile. Genesis Diamonds, where you get the respect you deserve, the quality you want, and the value you need every day. Check them out. 2 locations, Green Hills and Cool Springs, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
It doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
President Biden says no regrets on re-election and dropping out, and some sad news to pass along about a crowd favorite on ESPN's College Game Day coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, let's take a look at the market, see how things are looking. Dow Jones Industrial's down just a smidge, less than a point, so essentially unchanged. S&P up 44, the NASDAQ up 285, which is about 1.5%, so the NASDAQ looking good. And yes, there's news from the Fed. Let's check in with John Maxson over at Beacon Capital Management for more on all that.
Hey, good afternoon, Brian. Yep, Dow was flat, but again, the S&P and NASDAQ closed on another record today, so the post-election bumps continuing. Initial jobless claims today were in line with expectations, but the big news that was really widely expected was the Federal Reserve came out in their November meeting and they dropped interest rates a 0.25 or a quarter basis point. So that's going to help mortgages, or should help mortgages. Interest rates are considered that they will continue to reduce. We'll see if they do that again in September. Chairman Powell commented that the economy continues to show positive signs of reduction in inflation and growth overall. Tomorrow we're going to get a gauge on how consumers feel, because consumer sentiment is coming out. Of course, what drives a lot of the economy is consumer spending. But a good day for the most part in the market today.
All right. Thank you very much, John. And to find out more about all the things that John Maxson and the other good people at Beacon Capital Management can do to help you get ready for retirement, just go to their website, askbeaconnow.com. 58 past the hour. You know, probably the number one question I get asked from time to time by folks is, how can I get in the conservative fight? Well, it's critical to know where your dollars are going. Most credit cards are funneling millions to the left, but now you have a choice. Coin is America's conservative credit card. You can earn cash back while fighting the liberal agenda. Apply now at coin.com. That's COIGN.com. Terms apply. Just go to coin.com/disclosures for full details.
Four o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Right now, the White House reacting to Tuesday's election. Karen Travers with the latest.
The White House says President Biden has no regrets about his initial decision to seek a second term, or any second thoughts about deciding in July to withdraw from the race. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre.
When he made that decision to hand over the torch, pass the torch to the vice president, he believed it was the right decision to make at that time.
Jean-Pierre said the country spoke on Tuesday night and people were clear on where they wanted to see the direction of this country, and the White House will respect that.
Transition from the Biden administration to a Trump administration will include a meeting between the two, which Jean-Pierre says both teams are working on. Meanwhile, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky saying he spoke with President-elect Trump today about Trump's thoughts on the war. Here's Patrick Reevell.
President Zelensky has also spoken to Donald Trump already. He called him to congratulate him. In a speech today, he said, though, that peace cannot be won through showing weakness, and he called for Ukraine to be reinforced.
Vladimir Putin publicly congratulating Donald Trump, too, on his election, also saying that he was impressed how Trump reacted when he was nearly assassinated, saying that it showed he was courageous. Putin also said that he would be ready to speak with Trump. Tonight in Nashville, Metro Council to discuss processing rape kits faster. A resolution calling for sending $250,000 to Metro Police to help outsource sexual assault kits to private vendors, which the state says it did, and now they're processing kits 3 times faster. Well, thousands of people have been evacuated in Southern California after an active wildfire destroyed dozens of homes in Ventura County. Homeowner Jan's house of more than 60 years completely consumed. She tells ABC News she and her husband and mother will be going to a senior living facility for now.
I've got my husband. I've got my mother. My husband's 89. My mother's 101. And we're going to stay at Atria for a couple months, figure out what we want to do. At this point, we don't want to rebuild.
Fire officials saying that wildfire is driven by wind. It is 0% contained there in Southern California. Not sure if you follow college football or not, but if you do, you likely know about ESPN's Kirk Herbstreit and his beloved dog Ben. Well, Herbstreit announced that his best buddy has passed away after a long battle with a type of cancer. Herbstreit says it had spread through Ben's organs and there was nothing left to do. Ben was a crowd favorite at College game day this season. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, in addition to the usual slow go getting home out of downtown Nashville, we've got some problems out there on the interstates due to a stalled vehicle. This is blocking the left lane of 40 westbound after McCrory Lane. This is west of downtown. It's in Pegram. A pickup truck lost an axle there. Highway Patrol on the scene. And in Smyrna, we've got traffic down to one lane, both directions, Sam Ridley Parkway, eastbound at Weekly Lane because of a crash. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 7 minutes past the hour of 4 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7. Good afternoon. I am Brian Wilson, in for hour number 2 of The Drive, where we provide you the latest in monkey coverage. Well, that's above my hearing range. If you don't know, if you're just joining us, there are wild monkey. Well, they're not wild. I guess, I don't know. Would you call them domesticated? I don't think you call them domesticated.
I call them wild.
Their wild monkeys are on the loose in South Carolina. 43 of them.
Yes, sir. Still on the loose.
They're still on the loose.
Yeah.
It's going to take them forever to find 43 monkeys.
Oh, yes.
You know,
I'm sure
really,
they don't
honestly,
stay all together.
We need to. There's got to be some funny pictures of these people in South Carolina trying to capture monkeys.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I might check for like some traffic cameras or something like that might be
monkeys on the loose.
It might be hanging from that traffic camera.
Yeah,
you never know.
It's over there in Beaufort County. Beaufort County.
Monkeys just doing what a monkey's going to do.
Yeah.
That's right.
You be careful.
Around.
They're known for throwing stuff.
Yes, they are. Mm-hmm. Well, you got a congresswoman in on it right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Republican South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace says her staff is following this closely. Well, here's the thing. She is very much against testing on animals.
Yeah, if you don't know the story, we should back up and explain that there was a lab in South Carolina, and they had 43 monkeys, and somehow the door got left open, and 43 monkeys have escaped into the wild in South Carolina.
Yeah, it's from Alpha Genesis, a research facility there.
Well, I'm not really big on animal testing. I mean, I know that. I mean, when you come down to some things, you say like, well, okay, if we find a cure for cancer, but we have to kill a couple of monkeys to do it, is that fair? I mean, there are all kinds of ethical questions about it. You know, I'm okay. I think if at the end of the day, you are doing something that will save human lives in a huge way. I don't like it, but I understand the need for it.
Yeah.
If it's cosmetic testing or something like that, no. Well, I don't get that at all. But one way or the other, who do you root for? Do you root for the officials, or do you root for the monkeys? I think most people will root for the monkeys.
You know what's funny is that, and someone pointed this out on the Members Nutrition Super Text line, there's actually in this same part of South Carolina, in that low country area, there's an island called Morgan Island.
Yes.
It's more popularly known as Monkey Island.
I did know
because
that,
it's got a colony of free-range rhesus monkeys.
Well, maybe
I'll be.
Apparently, it was from a former research or testing facility that ended up closing, and they just let the monkeys go.
Let them go, and now they live on this island.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well,
that's something.
Be.
So maybe they'll end up on the Monkey Island, all the escaped monkeys.
Of course, they got to swim there.
This says it's home to like 3,500 rhesus monkeys.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a lot of monkeys for an island.
Yes, it is.
Well, they got nothing to do on the island.
No.
Except just, replicate. Golly.
They got it all to themselves. Nothing else going on there.
I just think it's going to be something that it's going to take on a life of its own.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, people are going to be, following the monkey story, I think, for some time.
Get this. Congresswoman Nancy Mace on her X account said taxpayers should not be forced to spend $20 billion per year on what she says wasteful and cruel experiments involving dogs, cats, monkeys, and other animals.
That's a lot of money.
$20 billion a year. I mean, but then again, if you get that
number
cure for cancer,
that number seems a little suspect.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. But anyway, we'll watch. We're going to have. We are the station where you can count on the very latest monkey updates.
Yes,
sir. Not capuchin.
No, not the cute little capuchin monkeys.
No, these are rhesus macaque.
Macaque. Got big long tails.
Mm.
And teeth.
Yeah, I wouldn't get too close to them, that's for sure.
We've missed an obvious one, Chris.
What's that?
Here we come.